It is second week of the streams, and that looks alright, but let me bring this down just a little bit over there, and there we go. So, today, I've got the Formula One set, so I'm going to start with this one, move into the small McLaren, and then get into the somewhat larger one for today. Of course, there's the other two largest sets of the wave, the truck as well as garage. It says it's live, that's good, and it looks like it is. Fantastic. Marvelous. Alright, so the Williams and Haas 4+ set. Very exciting. Love my 4+ sets, even though I'm pretty sure I do actually have a couple 4+ sets from January 1st. I've still yet to build. But yeah, this should be fun. I believe the Williams, there's 2 instruction manuals with this. That's a lot. That's good. That's always better. Alright. Let me put this here and this one up there. Alright. Number 1 is the Williams. I don't know why they put Williams and Haas in the same set. I feel like you'd put someone maybe a little bit, maybe one top team and one bottom team, and not 2 bottom teams in the same set, but that's what they've done here. Now, I think this Williams figure is the same as the Speed Champions one, except for the fact that the helmets on these ones are just the regular Lego helmet, whereas the Speed Champions ones for March are just all one new helmet piece. And like most Formula One sets, how you have to build this thing is you have to put the minifigure's legs and torso in one hand, and then the head, and 2 helmet pieces in your other. And it's the same thing, so I'm supposed to grab this. Alright. You do one thing at a time. This is gonna... I'm happy that the other 2 sets aren't. If this is 4+, I can't even imagine what it's like if I tried to build a Duplo set, because there's one Formula One Duplo set, but I decided not to pick that one up for this. Alright. This has way too many. You have 2 pieces in one. Alright. This is certainly... I remember, this was the exact same thing the last time I built one of these. I sort of forgot about it, and now it's back. It's sort of weird though, these 2, they have every team for the city sets, even though these 2 don't match the other ones, because the 4+ sets are completely different. They're also very unsafe cars, at least the current generation of cars. They have no halos, so these Williams and Haas drivers are going to be getting their heads cut off, which you'd think they'd want to prevent in the 4+ set, but I guess not. Oh yeah, that was alright. I like this week's one a bit better, because I had a bit of time in downtown Toronto this week, so most of it is taken up by that. And I also tried to make it a bit shorter, because I did not want another 30-minute one of them, but I haven't really put it all together yet, so I don't know what the time of it's currently at, but yeah. So far it's actually not that bad. This printed piece with the Williams logo is actually really cool. And same for the little rear wing flap. I have the ARC 170 still right across from me because I haven't moved it, and I kind of like this Lil Williams car better than that set, which feels wrong, but yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna do both sides now. They're making you do one side at a time, and there's still another one of these to do. I'm happy the entire range of these cars aren't these 4+ ones. I think it'd drive me crazy to do it. But with relating to Star Wars, I actually started the Skeleton Crew show. I haven't seen the last episode yet that came out this week, but I saw the 7 episodes that were available up until like Sunday and Monday, and I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite bits of Star Wars that I've watched in a while, and yeah, I quite happy with it. These are not that bad. These are actually solid 4+ sets. Even though I don't know why they didn't put a halo on these cars, considering that they're trying to make them. Yeah, these are totally, they have treads on the tires. That's embarrassing. It does. Like I like the white logo with the little track. It's cool. They did it, I guess, with Space last year as well, with having those a similar, like, of course, it's a Space pattern, but I like each year how they're doing a little bit of a sub theme that stretches across multiple themes, but yeah, I don't know what they'll do next. It'll be interesting to see how much Formula One sets release next year. Oh, they don't even have there's one set of this range of Formula One sets. It's the Sauber and RB set. It's just a start-finish line. It's disappeared. It was supposed to come out January 1st, and it just completely disappeared off Lego's website for a while. It's back there now, and it says March 1st. It's not even on the back of this. I don't know what happened with that set, but yeah, the first one is done. The Little Williams. Williams is I have a soft spot for Williams. I do like the team. Even though I am currently just rewatching some older races, and I will say I absolutely despised Williams during the late 1980s, where they were fighting my McLaren team for victories. Like, I guess there's these city sets, and then you've got the Speed Champions, and then of course there's the Icons. I was just starting building the thing without even looking at it. I probably could do that. I'm not going to though. But like, I'm fine with these being included in City. I think they're fine little sets. They're nowhere near the March 1st Speed Champions ones that are coming out. Like, those sets just look really good. I've pre-ordered all 10 of them, so I don't know if I'll build them all in one stream. That seems a bit excessive, but when those come out, I'm quite excited for those. So I don't know. I don't think it needs its own theme. I think I'm fine with it coming in other themes. Of course, I don't know. I really don't follow City enough to know if these 5 spots take up 5 City spots or not from just a normal year of City, or if they're just a completely additional spots. But I don't know. it's interesting to have all these Formula One sets. It's certainly a lot, um, maybe a bit much at times, but it's uh, it's all right. I'm quite excited to get the Nigel Mansell um, Williams that's coming out in, I think it's March. Um, and then there's a couple Technic ones that, so yeah, I guess it's branching from a ton of themes, um, and it's it's cool to see all of it. But I don't know, like you have all 10 or all 10 teams represented in two different themes, which seems a little bit much. Like, I feel like you could have maybe just done something like this and maybe the truck and the start finish line, and that's really all you need. But the one thing about these city sets that, unlike the Speed Champions ones strive for the accuracy of the actual cars, whereas these ones really aren't all that close to the cars themselves. So if you wanted to, you could just release 5 teams this year and 5 teams next year, and they'd all go together. Whereas if you tried to do that with Speed Champions, you'd have a bit of an issue because, of course, cars from 2024 aren't going to look like the cars from 2025, and then you get into 2026 where the cars completely change regulations. You get into a few issues there. So I think that's maybe they could have toned it down, I guess, a little bit with City. And of course, I have no idea if there's going to be any more City sets come later in the year. But yeah, it's certainly a lot across a lot of themes. And I guess maybe making it its own theme would have worked, but at the same time, you have you'd have so many different styles of cars together. It'd probably be a bit weird, and I have no idea what. It seems to me like they're at a bit of a cap when it comes to themes. Like, I don't think going into Lego stores right now they have any more space for an additional theme. So it's either get rid of one or two that you have and bring in something new, or spread it across themes, like, which is I guess what Icons is sort of being used for, because you've got the Transformers sets, the two ones of those that are all branded under Icons. If you make that its own theme, you have its own spot on the shelves, and then the same case for when Star Trek comes out, when the Black Pearl comes out, when Bag End comes out, and yeah, so I feel like they're probably at a bit of a, they just don't have the space for it anymore, but yeah, that is two little cars. They're pretty solid. They are not bad at all. Of course, they're 4+ sets, so they have probably more inaccuracies than this and this are going to have. Like, the tires have treads on them, which, unless these are driving in wet conditions, I would not see that happening. And they also don't have halos, which, it's even worse considering that the rear of the car doesn't go ahead of the driver's head. So yeah, these guys get into accidents and they are dead. Whereas hopefully with this guy, the McLaren, what do they call it? The F1 driver with McLaren race car, 86 pieces. I'm excited for this one more for the fact of McLaren is the team I support. Oh, nice. All printed parts with this one too. Wasn't expecting that. I thought, well, look now. Can't say it for the big one, I guess, but throw that down. Get out of here. There's a lot of details in that one, so I'm gonna say there's stickers in this one, but at least for this one, there's no stickers. And one nice thing about this one, since we're moving up in the age range for two years, at least the steps should have multiple pieces and not one piece at a time. But yeah, those are actually like really solid 4+ sets. I have another 4+ set that I think I have a bunch of smaller sets for next week, and one of them is a 4+ set, which is this Batmobile and Mr. Freeze, which I don't think is going to be as solid as these two, which seem like honestly really solid 4+ sets. Alright. The McLaren. This one has an accurate race suit, which I guess the other ones were as well. But this one's very similar to the one that came out this year, the full-size Speed Champions one, in that the helmet has the same logo. Actually, I think that one was a gray helmet to match the 2023 suits. But this one, it's a cool figure. Definitely like getting that, but I actually don't think the Speed Champions one is all that much more detailed than that one. That's one thing about the Speed Champions ones, is just the sort of lack of detail on the suits themselves. But it's a solid year for LEGO Formula 1 sets. I remember just last year when they released a couple sets, thinking about what they could do this year, because it seemed like they were sort of going a couple teams at a time when it came to years, and then it comes to 2025 and they release every single team twice and in a bunch of different forms, so it's quite something. But I kind of now want the Haas and Williams that they have here in the same style as these ones, because every other team has that style of car, whereas the other two just are sort of left out with their 4+ ones, which don't look bad, but they're definitely not gonna look the exact same. But it should, it's coming together a nice little car. The Ferrari one was definitely the one that I was sort of most excited for, and there's one in the sets, one of a few for January 1st, that just said sold out right away from the launch. It didn't even get put up on the site initially. It just said sold out, and then when I checked in the morning, it was back to normal. It had everything all fixed, and I ordered one of them. One nice, oh, never mind. I was about to say, and give compliments to these sets, I thought they had a newer tire piece. They do not. They are the, they have treads. I thought they were slick tires. They really do kind of look like it on the side of the box. Well, that's fine. It's not the biggest thing. At least Speed Champions has the slick tires, but nope. Actually, kind of. I do have a bit of a Formula 1 display, so sort of. I don't know if these will work, because it is sort of a bit put together for the larger Speed Champions cars, whereas I don't think these will work as well, but at least these don't take up too much space, so it's not too bad. But I think I'll be able to find a spot for these ones, but no. It's never... When my strategy for buying LEGO sets is more, buy them and then worry about the space later, which is terrible way to go about it, but I haven't changed with it. It's kind of, it's not a tiny thing. It's definitely a lot bigger than the 4 Plus ones, so I was sort of hoping that it would be around the size of the 4 Plus ones, so at least then it sort of came together, but it definitely seems like that won't be the case here. But not too bad. Alright, the front wing of this one is coming together, and there's a lot more orange on this particular McLaren than you would find on the actual 2024 McLaren, which is interesting to see, all that orange on the car. Another printed part for the front wing. Okay, I do like that these are easy to take off, and that's just going to work best for that set. You can easily take off the front wings. Now, one thing that I saw about this set, now it's nice, they have these printed steering wheel pieces, which in this case is just a 1x2 oval tile. But one thing I don't understand about these ones, as well as the ones given to the Speed Champions sets, is that the Speed Champions ones, I believe, is in 3rd gear. These ones are in 2nd gear, which the cars are, for the duration of the race, the time that the cars are in those lower gears is just not all that high. So I don't exactly understand why they didn't put them in one of the faster gears. I don't understand. It's just one small thing with the sets that I don't get. It's the most minor of things, but I don't know. It's something I noticed with the sets right away, is that they put the steering wheels in these really low gears, and it just didn't really make that much sense to me. But this is solid. It's coming together. It's a nice little Speed Champion, or not Speed Champion, City Formula 1 set. And I like the use of that piece to give the cockpit a bit of a circular shape. That's, so far I am quite impressed with these, and I was sort of surprised by that. I didn't really find them to be the most interesting looking Formula 1 sets, just because you can get better sets, but these are actually not, these are much better than I thought they were going to be. It's probably the happiest I've been with any of the January 1st stuff so far. The ARC 170 was solid, but it was small and had a few issues. A bunch of the Ninjago sets they were solid. But these, so far, these are very solid. Quite happy with them. I like how they represent the floor of the car with these pieces. There's no weird colors that sort of look a bit off on them. It's nice. Very nice. There's a few printed parts in it. You get your driver minifigure. Not too bad. Now the issues will arise when I put the driver in the car, and we'll see if they fit in there properly, or if their head is poking out above the rear of the car, where they can get their head chopped off in an accident. But yeah, this is very orange. I like the look of it. It's weird to me seeing a McLaren that's this orange, at least in the last couple of years. But now it's the Halo, which chooses a very similar piece, if not the same, as the Speed Champions. And then there are these tires, which are sort of disappointing. I thought they were slick tires, and they're not. Now, I'm not entirely sure about the Speed Champions ones. I know they're slick tires. I don't know if they have two different tire sizes, where the front ones are smaller than the rear ones. Hoping that's the case, but I don't know exactly if that will be the case. This is very much like the 2018-17 McLaren. Like, it looks exactly like that, except for the fact that it has a halo. For the fact that there's no sponsorships, there's just McLaren. It's sort of weird seeing a Formula One car without any sort of sponsorships or any sort of logos. It's such, like, having it complete, it's very strange to see just a plain Formula One car that has no advertising whatsoever, just the company name, and that's it. It's interesting. McLaren for the team itself, but I think this set in total, and I have a very much a love-hate relationship with Ferrari, because my favorite driver ever, Gilles Villeneuve, drove for Ferrari his entire career, but then you have McLaren, my favorite team, who fights constantly, and classically is sort of the battle of the teams is McLaren and Ferrari. So currently, and especially where it is right now, looking towards next season, where it's probably going to be those teams fighting it out, I will absolutely hate Ferrari. But at the moment, they're all right. I'm excited to build this one and get into the last set of the day, but here is the little McLaren Formula One car. The driver fits in there properly. Their head is properly in there, much safer than the 4+ ones, where anyone driving that getting into an accident will definitely lose their head. Alright, last one of the bunch. I really kind of like that McLaren, and I don't know, I might have to order the other city sets, because I'm certainly liking it. Alright, so you've got an instruction manual for the car, and then the pit lane itself, which is, I believe, even though it's red, matching the Ferrari, is the red itself is more trying to match the Formula One colors, so it's pretty much just a standard Formula One pit stall. I have not built any city sets that since the new road plate system that include one of these, so this is my first time seeing these newer road plates, and one of those is used. You do have a sticker sheet with this one. All the Ferrari logos, I believe, are going to be printed, but there are a decent amount of, or a few stickers for the pit lane itself. And you start the build off with the car, which will be an exciting one. I don't know, Lego Ferrari sets are, there's just been so many of them. There's something about the red Ferrari in Lego that is just so cool. Even though, currently, in how it looks, this color red will not be accurate to next year's Ferrari, as it seems like it's going to be a bit of a darker shade of red, which is interesting. And the Ferrari driver, which looks amazing. I really like this figure. I really do like this figure. The steering wheel is the exact same. The car is second gear, which makes a little bit more sense, I guess, slowing down in the pit lane. But considering that this guy is, at least on the box, driving on the racetrack, if he's in second gear, I'm a little worried his engine is blown out. So that's unfortunate for the McLaren driver. But hopefully the Ferrari guy's alright. He's just going in to get his tires changed. But I think, unlike the Speed Champions ones of these coming out in March, where all the designs are different in quite a few ways, this is a complete just color swap of the any of these. They're the exact same build as the other ones, which is fine. There's really not any sort of room with these. They're too small to sort of make slight changes like that, whereas with the Speed Champions ones you have a lot more space. Changing something like the side pods of the car, which you just can't really do with these ones. I guess maybe a few different pieces, but there's really not that much that can be done with these. But yeah, I think I'm gonna want to get all of these now. It's an issue. Every single time I buy something or watch a film, I want to buy everything from that. It's a real issue. Need to fix that. And this one's the same case. I'm going to want to buy the other 3 City Formula 1 sets, and eventually I'm going to end up buying the Duplo set. Why? I don't know, but it's going to be that. It's going to be that way. I can already see it now. But the red Scarlet Ferrari's coming together. It's looking nice. I think car design wise, this is definitely one of my favorite looking Formula 1 cars. The red Ferrari is definitely a nice one, but if any red cars are my favorite, it's definitely the red and white McLaren, which was quite a successful Formula 1 car, and would love to see those colors return. But currently it's orange, it's papaya, and it looks pretty good. or at least 5 days of it. Most of it is Wednesday, because I had some stuff to do in Toronto, so got a decent amount there, just walking around the city. And yeah, so I kind of like this one a little bit more than the first one. It's also going to be shorter than the first one, which I am quite happy with. I had no idea how that thing got up to 30 minutes long, but it did. And yeah, so I have no idea how long I'm going to keep up those, but I enjoyed the first one. I have enjoyed the second one. And yeah, so it'll be out on Monday. I plan on just releasing those on Monday, and yeah, so Monday morning I'll have the second one out of those. Week 3, on the other hand, will probably be about the most boring one I can think of, because I've got nothing really going on except for the fact that I am finishing up something that is sort of a project that I'm really quite happy with. I've almost finished my first full series of digitally designed Lego minifigures. So my first custom minifigure series will probably be coming out next week, which is based on Wes Anderson's first 2 films. And yeah, so I'm excited for that to come out. It's sort of, I have a whole list of other series that I want to release. These, I have a few more Wes Anderson ones. By the end of the year, I should have a complete list, or complete series of all his films. And yeah, so that's the Wes Anderson ones are sort of my ones that are important to me, but I'm also going to be doing ones that will probably be a lot more popular than the Wes Anderson ones. And the second minifigure series that I'm working on, that I'm excited for, is from Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim, which should be a fun one, some fun minifigures in there. And I would need to check the list to see what's after that, but I'm planning on doing one of those series per month for this year. January, I think I should have two because I do want to have that Lord of the Rings one out, as well as the Wes Anderson one out. So, very excited for those. They're sort of my big thing that I want to do this year with YouTube, is have those come out. And that is that. This really was a quick one. The Ferrari, if I can ever get the driver in there, is now finished. And there he is, the little city Ferrari, which looks really nice from the top down. These are solid looking Formula One cars. I do like them. They're sort of more in scale with what I would think a 2026 Formula One car regulation would look like. Alright, next instruction manual for bag 2 is the start of the pit lane, or the pit box. Alright. There are, I think, 4 more figures in the set, all identical. And they are sort of just a standard pit crew, even though they're in the orange that would usually be associated with Formula One marshals, so it's sort of weird, but it's interesting. But yeah. Alright. The marshals, or I guess the pit crew, which, because this is sort of just a standard set for any Formula One team, the pit crew themselves are just Formula One branded pit crew. But yeah, these guys are a lot more like just marshals for Formula One tracks than they are for the pit crew themselves. But I like the back brim with the F1 logo on it. It's pretty nice. I haven't got a set yet with the paper bags. I'm kind of excited for when I do. Like, the closest that I've gotten to the paper bags was the Guardians ship from last year. The Windstream piece was in a paper bag. That's the closest I've gotten so far. But I'm excited to get a set with them. I'm also really excited to see the paper bag poly bags, which are, I don't know, it's like those are gonna really get crunkled up in sort of the just bins that they get thrown into. That, I don't know, it's so weird. I never thought they'd be doing paper poly bags, so I'm very interested to see how those look. But yeah, I don't know exactly what the timeline was for paper bags to be put across in every single theme, but it'll be interesting to see when they do eventually come into every set. But yeah, I have no issue at all with those paper bags. I do have an issue, though, if they do end up changing from the physical instruction manuals to the online instruction manuals, which seem like a very unpopular prospect when it was posed in a few surveys last year, so don't think that's happening anytime soon. But yeah, I'm excited to just open up a Lego box and see those paper bags because it's just gonna be so. It's gonna be such an alien type of thing because just paper bags or plastic bags have just been with Lego sets for so long. It's weird, but yeah, there's no way from the reception that they got when they released surveys with potentially switching to digital instruction manuals that I don't think it's going to happen. But I will say that they are advertising it a lot more, like the little they I don't think it was on this one, but on the Lowell McLaren you've got build it your way where you actually like have it displayed as you can do it this or this. Whereas I think that's a pretty new concept. I really haven't seen that in a bunch of other instruction manuals, so they're definitely advertising the digital instruction manuals a lot more, so we'll see. But yeah, I would not enjoy building sets for. Yeah, no, I definitely not something I think I want to see happen whatsoever. But this is coming together. I honestly have no clue what part of the set this is, but yeah, it's something. Yeah, I have no idea where in the build this takes place. I believe that this build has some sort of function where you can have the car drive in and you can switch out the tires, but I have I'm assuming that you just take off the tires, push the car in, and it has a mechanism that you just push it and it will put the tires on pretty much. So it'll be interesting to see if that is actually something that works with this. But I have no clue what part of the build this is. But yeah, January Lego sets. I think these are some of my favorites so far. I think there's a few that I still want to get. This year's modular definitely was one of the best looking modulars I've seen in a while. Definitely want to get that one. There's also the Spider-Verse set that I'd like to get at some point when that one goes down a little bit in its price. But January seemed pretty solid. I don't think there's all that many stuff in February like there usually is. There's really usually not all that much. So I guess March is the next big release, which I think has some Star Wars sets, like it has for the last few years. But I'm not entirely sure how many. I honestly can't remember all that much of the Star Wars rumors except for certain things like the UCS Django's Slave 1, which seems like it's gotten a price bump to, I think it's past like $300, so it's a little bit more expensive of that May UCS set, but I still think it's going to be a very, very solid one. I'm very excited for that set. That's definitely one I'll be picking up May 1st, and it's sort of my plan to go and film that one or live stream that build exactly when I get it. Just get it, drive home, and build the thing. Where'd I put the sticker sheet? I just had it. Where the hell did I put it? I think I'm blind. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Left it. That's not a good idea. Leaving it on the page before I flip it. Yeah, it's definitely. It was sort of an easy choice, I think, when I made the choice to go into architecture. It's definitely not a difficult one. It was pretty easy. It's always been something that I've enjoyed. But construction as a whole has so many things it's fun to see all these things get built and see how much they cost, and working with billions of dollars on a regular basis. It's certainly fun. Oh, okay, let me see. Did I do that right? I should. 1 second. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Wonderful. I'm not the biggest fan of more modern styles, I would say. I don't love glass all over every little bit of the building. I definitely like the ornamentation that you'll find on a lot of older structures. But I have worked on a decent amount of buildings in the last little while that I have been able to use almost a mix of styles, which has been fun. The last little while I've really been trying to challenge myself with some more brutalist styles, which is it's a questionable style of architecture. It's just concrete, so it's not the most stylistic looking building with a bunch of different materials for the facade of the building, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm at right now with a favorite style, but I definitely enjoy a lot of historical styles. My favorite architect, which really doesn't work with those historical styles, and if anything is sort of a bit in line with brutalism in a way, is Douglas Cardinal. He's a Canadian architect. He's worked on a few things, bigger projects around Ontario and other parts of the country, but yeah, I don't know. There's certainly a lot. It's very interesting, but here is the first part of this build, which is, I guess, you've got the driveway that the car will be getting up there, and then I'm assuming that you're going to be able to push back on this little bit here, and it's going to somehow change the tires. And that's really, that was it. Like, I started building Lego when I was like 4, and I guess building, even in the simplest form of Lego, really influenced that interest in architecture. But yeah, I like recently I've definitely done a lot more on the construction side when it comes to cost of stuff, scheduling, planning, but the last few weeks I have done a bit of stuff that's designed, which is pretty much my task for this weekend. Is I am going to be pretty much just coming up with a bunch of concepts for potential buildings, because that's what I was doing in Toronto, was visiting a site for a potential or for a project. So that's always fun. Site visits are definitely a fun part of it, especially when the thing's under construction. It's more fun than when it's complete. It's certainly very interesting to walk around those construction sites and see everything go down. Yeah, it's fun. All right, a couple more pit crew members. I think City definitely seems, compared to like all the licensed themes that I buy, superheroes, Star Wars, Harry Potter, where all the sets are very expensive for what you get. These sets are pretty reasonably priced for what you get, which is sort of weird to see. My time with City was, I'd say, probably 2014, maybe 2015, 16, around then. I definitely bought a lot of City, but ever since then I really haven't bought that much, except for some of their stuff, like last year when they came out with the small set that had the red panda, I bought that, and stuff like that. Whenever they put new exciting molded animals in sets, I tend to buy those. But it's interesting to look at Lego themes like this that actually feel like the value of the set is pretty much there for a regular price set. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm in any hurry to get the other two City sets, or I'm gonna wait on those to go on sale. But I also have no idea what Lego City sales are like, because I haven't gone out of my way to buy City sets in, I was about to say 5 years, thinking that 2015 was like 5 or so years ago, 10 years now. So I haven't really bought City in this quantity, like just sitting down and building 3 City sets. I haven't done that in years. So yeah, my Lego, like, I kind of, looking at the theme itself, like, I love Star Wars. I sort of wish I bought Star Wars during the time I was buying City, because there were some pretty solid sets during then. But my two main themes during then were Chima and City, and a few others. Whereas Star Wars really wasn't. It was sort of past the Clone Wars, and my interest in it wasn't as high. And then of course The Force Awakens was coming out, and then sort of near the end, that's when I sort of got back into it. Lego Star Wars probably in 2016 or so, with the Rogue One stuff and those sets, which I'm quite excited to see season 2 of Andor when that comes out in a couple months. It should be exciting. I'm definitely excited for that. The conclusion of that series. But I was very impressed with the Skeleton Crew. It was, I haven't seen the last episode yet, but I was very, very surprised, I guess, with just how much I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would as much as I did, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorite Star Wars things that I've seen in a while. But I also haven't watched like The Acolyte, so I have no idea what my reaction would be to that. But yeah, Skeleton Crew, really enjoyed that, and that sticker placement is a bit iffy. It's not too bad. but I'm excited for Andor. Reading Star Wars books right now, so my Star Wars interest level is definitely sort of at an all-time high right now, even though I don't think the Lego sets themselves are matching that. Like if the Lego sets coming out right now for Star Wars were real good, I'd be worried how much stuff I'd be buying for Star Wars because I'd be way too into it. My sticker placement on these, the easiest stickers I could possibly do are the ones that I'm messing up. They're not that bad, but they're definitely not as good as what I would usually want for a sticker. Yeah, I I can see that. Like the Lego theme itself is definitely not. I excited for Andor, so that excitement is sort of keeping me in there. And then I've really enjoyed the Skeleton Crew, so that was sort of the thing that really brought me, like if I talking about like the stream last week building the Arc 170, like my interest in Star Wars building that Arc 170 was not up there. Like the set was just all right, and wasn't really all that interested in the stuff that was coming out. And then I go and watch the show, really enjoy it, and I've been reading like a couple Star Wars books, and it's up there. I'm very much at a higher point in my Star Wars interest level, which it's nice to sort of be back in there. And if the Lego theme later this year sort of can catch up to that, I'm gonna be quite happy with it. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm very excited to see Andor. Now, I don't think that show is going to be anywhere near the first season. I thought that was some really solid Star Wars. Have a feeling that it's just not going to be quite as good because it tends to not really be when you have a second season of something that really I guess the story of Andor is sort of a 2-season thing because you sort of want to get him right to the start of Rogue One before he dies, which is interesting. That it's sort of interesting watching the story of a character knowing that it's just all of the events that you're watching go down in the show are just leading up to the guy's death, which is definitely interesting. But I don't know. Like my interest in it is up there, I think, because of just how much I'm enjoying the book that I'm reading. Like I'm reading Brotherhood, which is the about Anakin and Obi-Wan. And there's a few like I love Anakin and Obi-Wan. My favorite characters in the entire thing are 2 side characters that are in it. And I want to see those characters in so many things because they're not so many things that'd be overdone then, but I want to see them in more things because they were just really quite a delight in the book. But yeah, I can see that for sure. I don't know. It was I definitely like ahead of the show. My interest in it wasn't there. But there's certain characters in it, like Mon Mothma and Bail Organa being in it, Krennic in there, the earlier stages of the Empire. There's just stuff like that I find interesting in Star Wars. So even though, like, the thing about Andor for me is that I honestly don't really care that much of the character of Cassian Andor. It's more the characters and around him that I really enjoy, and it's what made me enjoy the first season of it. But yeah, like a few months ago, even last week, my interest in Star Wars was not all that up there. But right now, I'm in a good place with it, and I hope that I'm excited to see what comes of the future. I can't say I'm overly excited for like the movies that are planned. Like I honestly couldn't care less about any more Mandalorian and Grogu stories. So honest, I don't care at all about the movie next year whenever it's coming out. And the Rey movie, I don't know. I'm honestly not. I'm there's some bit of excitement for me for the Rey movie, more for the fact that it's another Star Wars movie, and that's always sort of an exciting thing. Whereas the Mandalorian and Grogu movie to me is gonna just feel like a 2 hour Disney Plus episode. At least that's what I'm assuming it's going to be like. So, I don't know. And I have no clue what's coming out after Andor, but it's it's an interesting stage for Star Wars. And I guess Star Wars Lego is definitely not exactly at the highest point, but it's at least looking towards the summer. It seems to be some interesting stuff, at least. But yeah, if Django Fett's Slave One, the UCS set, is any, if it's good, that's gonna be it for. I honestly, if the Django Fett Slave One is as good as I think it's going to be, I honestly don't need anything else this year for Lego Star Wars, and I am going to be completely satisfied with it because it's my favorite, or one of my favorite ships in the series. To see that in a UCS scale, I'm I'm excited for it. Yeah. I'm also excited for the MTT, the Trade Federation MTT, or the Clone Wars blue and gray one. I'm like I'm assuming, like all other Star Wars sets currently, it's going to be a downscaled version of it, but hopefully it can hold enough battle droids. It'll be interesting to see when the set releases and it only holds like 5 battle droids. It'll be quite the laughing stock, and also a bit sad because I don't know, it's been a vehicle that's been around now for quite a while. So excited to see a new interpretation of that. All right, now. Oh yeah, so that's gonna be how it works. Interesting. So the pit stop for this, at least according to the timer, maybe it's still going, but took 1.95 seconds, which is solid pit stop, really quite solid. But considering that this is a Ferrari pit stop, that's probably not exactly the truth, and it's probably taken like 10 seconds. So, yeah. Um, I'm excited for the Death Star 2. The I should say Death Star, not Death Star 2. The Death Star as well. The UCS Death Star. I'm excited for that. I guess cautiously optimistic that it's going to be good, but I don't know. That needs to have a lot for that thing to be considered a good set. I feel like just it has a lot going against it, and it's gonna need a whole lot. I'd really like the last few big Marvel sets, especially with like the Daily Bugle. They included a lot of just like cool characters like the Punisher and Daredevil. I wouldn't mind that happening with something like the Death Star, where you include some cool, weird Legends characters. Like, even if they don't make sense at all, like, I don't know, like putting Mara Jade in there or putting Star Killer in there would be, I don't know, some just cool things. Maybe like a George Lucas dressed as a stormtrooper or something. Like, I think they need to do something cool with that Death Star, and I'm hoping for a lot of exclusive characters. I'm excited to get a new Tarkin. It's crazy how few figures he has when he feels to me like a really huge character in Star Wars, but at the same time, he really isn't. But I don't know. It would be an interesting set to see. I have no idea how this thing. I'm assuming that you just stop the car in there and that you have to manually take off the tires, but there is some sort of mechanism in this. But yeah, you definitely don't. This thing doesn't put on the tires for you, sadly. I feel like it needs to be. I feel like it needs to have an interior, and if you do a Death Star 2, to me you cut off half that interior. Like I don't know. I have no idea what it's gonna look like, but I feel like the exterior, at least if you're doing an $1,000 Death Star, cannot be a Death Star 2 because you lose just so much of it. But I don't know. Maybe it is. But it'll be interesting. All right, it's done. Let's see. You have your pit crew. Cool. All right. So you put your minifigures on this thing. All right. That's the Formula One sets for today. But you put your minifigure, you have them drive up into the pit lane, if they can ever get in there, and then you pull this out. Whoa! That's actually kind of cool. That's actually really cool. There's something about that's like it locks the car in there. Then I guess you just push it down and you can do the pit stop. And release them, and they go on their way. That's fun. This is the best. This is definitely my favorite set of the year. That's actually really fun. Now, I'm not going to be stupid here, and I'm going to keep my interest in LEGO City specifically to these Formula One sets. I am not going to look at any other city sets because I know that's a terrible road to go down. So I'm just going to look at these Formula One sets, and for now, this is it. That's all the ones I'm gonna focus on. But I'm assuming that these guys don't exactly work in here. They sort of do. It's just, but if it perfectly fits the city set, the city-sized Formula One cars, they really did a wonderful job fitting the cars to this set. It's like it fits in there perfectly. There's no real movement to it. I'm gonna be spending the entire weekend just doing this. This is okay. Yeah. Now I want all the teams to complete the collection. This is a cool set. I like it. Favorite set of the year so far. Next week is going to be a bunch of small sets. We've got a superhero mechs. There's that 4+ Batmobile. I have an Animal Crossing set, as well as a Super Mario set, which I guess, speaking of Super Mario, considering that it's a Mario Kart set, I am quite excited for the new Mario Kart game that was revealed yesterday for the new switch to. But yeah, that should be fun. Solid sets. Very very impressed by these. I like them quite a bit. They did a good job with these. These are definitely a lot better than I thought they were going to be. Now, I don't exactly know what you can really do with these guys because they can't really fit on here. I guess one of them can take off the tires. Yeah, I guess you can sort of put them on the other side. But do they get knocked off when you do this? No, they don't. I guess there is enough space. I guess one thing that would be a critique is that the little sign to stop the car right here doesn't exactly line up exactly with the front of the car, no matter how far you try to push the car in. I guess that's the one thing about this thing, and the fact that they don't have slick tires. Other than that, this set seems pretty much near perfect to me. Cool range of sets. Cool low cars. Four of the 10 teams. Which, yeah, might have to do another stream building the other 2 sets currently out. And then get around to buying the one that's coming out March 1st. Which is the one that I'm quite excited for, more for the fact that I kind of want the teams involved, because they just don't, to me, have as much merchandise as other teams. Like, you can easily get a Ferrari hat or a McLaren hat or shirt or whatever, whereas you can't really get a Sauber hat all that easily. So, getting merchandise of those smaller, less popular teams is sort of cool. But I think that is that for today. And City Formula One, very good. Unlike, no, this is not bad. It's just definitely not great. Whereas these, pretty close to that. Quite happy with them. But yeah, this is a good one. How long is this thing? Okay, just over an hour, which I think is funny enough. I think these sets combined were a bit larger of a piece count compared to the ARC 170, but finished them a bit quicker. But yeah, good sets. Thanks for watching it, and see ya next week with a new stream. Next week for videos and streams. On Monday, I'll have the vlog number 2, which is, I guess I'll start probably putting that together tonight. I have a brick separator down here that's just at my feet. I don't know how this got here. Okay, breaking stuff. But there's the brick separator that for some reason was just dangling around. But yeah, so that'll be Monday morning. Then probably Wednesday, ideally, I'll have that minifigure series, the Wes Anderson Series 1, which will definitely be one that caters to less people, and I've realized that, but it's more of a project that I wanted to do. Whereas the next one that I have, and some of the ones later in the year, like I have a Star Wars one planned. I want to do one for the Great Circle video game, but of course that sort of requires me to actually play the game, and I don't think it's out on PlayStation yet. So when that comes out, I will be making an Indiana Jones series. And then there's Lord of the Rings one, there's a Star Wars one, and I'm sure those will be much more popular than the Wes Anderson one, which will be catering to a very select few. But yeah, so that's next week, the Wes Anderson series Wednesday, another stream Friday, and then Saturday, probably one of these reviews, which don't know which one, but yeah. That should be good. I do actually really need to start that Lord of the Rings one though. I'm sort of I I'm trying to target getting that thing out before the month is over, but I also realize I still have 12 figures to draw. And these aren't exactly the most basic of character designs. They're much more intricate than some of the Wes Anderson ones, but should be fun. Good sets, good stream. Thanks for watching. And yeah, see you in the next one. Next Friday. Building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smaller sets. Then the week after that, I think I have the Creator Panda to build. So that's that. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye.